Longhorn Nation, I have a special treat for you today. 2022 wide receiver commit Reece Beachump joins the show. Longhorn Nation, happy Friday.
You are Locked On Longhorns, your daily podcast on the Texas Longhorns. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Longhorns, your daily number one source for all things Texas athletics, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jonathan Davis, the voice of University of Texas football and basketball. Thank you, as always, for making Locked On Longhorns your first listen of the day. For my audio listeners, make sure you're subscribed on YouTube for exclusive content and to put a face behind the voice of your favorite podcast. Make sure you like us, rate us, review us, give us 5 stars. Anything less than that, I have to believe you aren't listening hard enough. Longhorn Nation, let's get right into it. So, Reece, we're happy to have you on the podcast. My first question for you is, I know a lot of schools were interested in having you commit to their university. You ultimately chose the University of Texas. So just talk about some of those other schools that offered you and why you chose to come to the 40 acres.
Yeah, so a lot of the schools I was talking to were FCS Division I schools. Some of them were Montana State, the Ivy Leagues, and some other schools up in the Northeast. And then I also had a couple other walk-on offers for FBS schools. And ultimately, I chose the UT because it's just close to home. I've been a Longhorn my whole life. My dad played there, and it's just been a dream for me to be a Longhorn. And it was really cool to make it official.
No, definitely. And so I know your dad is probably your favorite Longhorn, but outside of that, who are some other Longhorns you enjoy watching growing up in the Austin area?
I'd say my favorite is probably Colt McCoy. I loved watching him and Jordan play together. It was tough seeing them lose to Bama in that championship game. I remember crying. I think I was 6 years old when that happened. But Colt and Jordan were definitely probably two of my favorites. But I've enjoyed watching them since I was little.
Definitely. No, I can't remember how old I was, but I remember crying when the Texas Tech play happened with Michael Crabtree. And then when Colt McCoy ripped all of our hearts out, leaving the game like that, only throwing 2 passes, man. That hurt for sure. We should have won that chip, and things haven't been the same since. All right, so just talk about your relationship with some of the offensive coaches at the University of Texas.
Yeah, so I've gotten to know Coach Marion and Coach Flood. I've built a relationship with them. I think Coach Marion's one of the best receiver coaches in the country, just based off what I've seen, how he teaches things. He's very technical with what he does, and while he was at Pitt, he had Jordan Addison, I think, won the Blitnikoff, and it's just kind of showing how good he is and how much he cares about his players and how technical he is. And I love what he does and what he preaches.
Yeah, that's something that Sark mentioned after the first spring practice was just how much of a tactician he was, and how much the receivers were enjoying just his teachings and how to route run and all of those different things. So definitely excited that you get to work with him. So growing up as a Texas fan, I have to ask you, what would it mean for you to be able to play in the Red River rivalry against Oklahoma?
It would mean the world. I mean, I've been to the Red River rivalry multiple times. Just the atmosphere is insane. When they run out, half the stadium's crimson, half the stadium's burnt orange. It's a crazy atmosphere getting to play with the state fair as well. It's just something that I've always loved watching that game. It would mean even more to get to play in it as well.
Yeah, nah, definitely. I grew up a UT fan, never had the football skills that you did, but I've dreamed plenty of times about playing against Oklahoma. So I can only imagine actually being on the doorstep of being able to play in that game. And I hope that you definitely get to experience that and we get to watch you. So I don't want to get you in trouble here, but I have to ask you. I won't ask you who you think is better or anything like that, but obviously Texas has a big quarterback battle going on right now between Hudson Card and Quinn Ewers. So just what are your thoughts on both of those quarterbacks?
I actually I've played against Quinn Ewers back when I was in 7th grade. We played 7-on-7 against South Lake Carroll, and I remember just hearing all about him. He already had offers as a middle schooler, so I've heard of him for a long time, and I know he's got the talent. He's a 5-star. He's got the arm strength, and so I really like what I see with Quinn. And then Hudson Cardy's from Lake Travis, which is about 20 minutes away from me at Vandegrift. He's a great athlete. He brings a lot to the table. I know he's a hard worker, so I think it'll be a tough battle. It'll be neck and neck throughout spring, and those have to figure it out in the fall.
Definitely. And what, I guess it could be a receiver or any other player. What one player are you most excited to work with once you get onto campus on the Texas football team?
Um, I'd probably say working with Xavier Worthy. He's a great dude. He's an amazing athlete. I mean, he showed the proof last year. One of the best receivers in college football. Just getting to work with him and match up my skills with him and see how I line up. He'll push me, and Jordan Whittington will push me. Those dudes will push me to be my best, and I'll definitely develop into a better receiver working with those dudes.
Yeah, two great options there for sure. All right, so some really good answers there. Coming up next, I'll ask you some more questions about your time in high school and some other receivers that you may have modeled your game after. But first, a word from our sponsors. If you're hungry, make sure you try Built Bar, especially the Puffs. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, and they're not just a protein bar. They're a treat covered in 100% real chocolate with flavors like yummy cinnamon churro, coconut marshmallow, and banana cream pie. So good. Low calorie, high protein. Replace your candy bars with these. Other flavors include mint brownie, coconut almond, and white chocolate cookies at cream. At Built Bar, they are all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first, and then they figure out how to make it healthy. And I don't know how, but they pull it off every single time. Go to built.com, use promo code locked15 and get 15% off your order. That's promo code locked15 for 15% off at built.com. All right, so Reece, what do you think is your biggest strength at the wide receiver position?
I'd say probably my route running, my agility. I may not have the straightaway speed that some dudes have, but I feel like just knowledge of the game and knowledge of defense, because I've played defense before as well. I kind of know the holes in defenses and where to work my way into to find the best way to get open. And I'd say just my knowledge of the game really helps me at the receiver position.
Definitely. What would you say is your favorite route to run?
Uh, I don't know. I ran a lot of go balls in high school, but I like running corner routes as well. So anything deep, really.
Anything deep? Okay. And what do you think is one route that you can improve the most upon?
Um, I'd say just any shorter routes. It takes, especially when you're getting press manned, it takes a lot of footwork, and that's kind of something Coach Marion works on a lot. Is working on footwork and not using your hands as much, but getting open with your feet. And he'll definitely develop me and make me better at that. But just working through press man and anything in, underneath.
Okay. What position did you play on defense?
I played free safety my junior year, and I played dime safety my sophomore.
Okay. Do you think you could have made it in college as a safety?
I think I could have, but I've always wanted to be an offensive player, and I just like having the ball in my hands. But I was a great safety as well, and I mean, if receiver ever didn't work out, I think I could play safety as well. But I just love playing on the offensive side.
Definitely. So who are some receivers, whether it's in college or the NFL, that you've looked up to or modeled your game after?
Um, Always watching Jordan and Jackson growing up. Those dudes were. I wouldn't say they were most athletic dudes, but they just never drop balls. And I mean, when you're that consistent, it'll always work out. And watching Cooper Cup this year is also really cool. He's not the fastest dude, biggest dude, but he's a technician and he knows how to get open. And that really motivated me, seeing he wasn't super high recruited out of high school as well. And watching that just gave me some more motivation and things that I need to work on. So.
Yeah, now Cooper Cup is definitely a dog, and he really just carried them, especially in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For sure. Definitely a lot of good picks there. So I guess we talked a little bit about the NFL. Who do you root for in the NFL? Do you watch a lot of NFL football?
I wouldn't say I have a favorite team. My dad has always rooted for the Cowboys, and it's kind of hard for them just because they struggle. But I root for them here and there. But I've never really had a straightforward favorite team. But if I had to root for someone, I'd probably root for the Cowboys.
Okay, I was about to say I'm a Cowboys fan, and I know your dad be going through it, and thankfully you're not too invested in the team, and you don't have to go through it as well, for sure. But now definitely, some good answers there as far as the receivers that you're looking forward to playing with at the University of Texas, and some of the receivers that you've modeled your game after. So coming up next, I have some questions for you about your time in high school. And then what you think Texas football will be able to do next year after a word from our sponsors. So we're talking about Athletic Greens. And what is this stuff? With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. Also, it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy free, or gluten free. Contains less than 1 gram of sugar with no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything, while still tasting good. Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just one scoop and a cup of water every day. That's it. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1 year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/college. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/college to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. It's that time of the year again as college basketball's tournament is finally upon us. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, BetOnline.net is the #1 source for all your sports betting needs and info. BetOnline remains the best spot for all of your sports scores, podcasts, and news this season. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline is your continued source for all of your sports wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. Bet online, where the game starts. So, Reece, I got to ask you, it is March Madness. Have you been watching any of the games during the tournament? And what's your thoughts so far?
I have been watching a good amount. I've been surprised with some teams, and I made a bracket as well, and it got busted early. So I kind of gave up on the bracket. I've just been watching. I was rooting for Texas, and they kind of got screwed. So just kind of watching for fun now.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was 46 free throws for Purdue to 12 against Texas. So a big discrepancy there. You said your bracket got messed up. I know a lot of people had Kentucky beating. Most people, the country had Kentucky beating St. Peter's. So that's probably where your bracket got messed up as. Who do you have winning? Who did you have winning the whole thing on your original bracket, and who do you have winning it now?
I had Kentucky and Tennessee in the championship, and they both lost. I thought Tennessee was hot, and I thought they could make it, and they both got knocked out. Out of the teams now, I'd probably have to say Tech or Kansas. I mean, just the Big 12 I feel like is stronger than most other conferences, and Tech's defense is really good, and Kansas is just a really good overall team.
Yeah, Kansas is really good, and Tech's defense is. I hate to have to give them any praise on this podcast, but Tech's defense is crazy. They switch everything. I had my bracket did get busted for sure, but I had Arizona and
Yeah,
UCLA in the championship, and so that's still alive. I don't know if UCLA will make it. I do think Arizona will, even though I think TCU should have won that game. I thought the refs did them really bad towards the end.
yeah.
And just stop calling fouls, period, when they were knocking all the TCU players on the floor. But Arizona's still in it, so we'll see. So you're finishing up your senior year of high school. What has been your favorite high school moment on the field thus far in your time there?
Um, we went to the quarterfinals in state my junior and senior year. Just having long playoff runs with your best friends is an amazing memory. And I'd say probably my favorite game from this year was we played Cibolo Steel in the second round of the playoffs, and everyone was projecting us to lose, and we were the underdog for pretty much everyone, and we ended up beating them 35-0 and kind of shocked the state. And yeah, we just kind of proved ourselves at that moment.
Did you score in that game?
I threw a touchdown in that game. Actually, we ran a little trick play, a double pass, and I threw a touchdown.
Okay, multi-versatile. Hopefully, you get to throw some passes at the University of Texas. So, who did you lose to this year in the playoffs, and how did it feel after that loss, knowing that would be your last high school game?
We lost to the eventual state champions, Austin Westlake, who are just a staff team. That was their third straight state championship. We actually play them in DKR, and we got beat pretty bad, but they're just an amazing team. They got D1 dudes all over the field, and we just couldn't play match up with them. But it was tough having to go out that way, but getting to play in DKR and making that far in the playoffs was definitely something cool to remember.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, for Longhorn Nation, what is one random, I guess, fact or thing about you that most people don't know or wouldn't expect?
Um, I really like to hunt and fish, and that might be something that people wouldn't expect just because I'm a city dude and live in Austin, Texas. But it's kind of something that my dad's raised me to do, and I've just done my whole life. So I love being outdoors. I go fish around Lake Travis all the time, and go hunting all the time. So that's kind of what I like to do in my free time.
I hate fishing, but it's probably because I'm not good at it. So, like, what's the biggest or best fish you've ever caught?
Um, I usually fish for largemouth, and my best fish I think was right at 7 pounds, maybe a little bit below. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. A lot better than I am in that regard, too. Also, a lot better at football. So, one last question for you, Reece. Besides the fact that you're now on the team, why is this Texas football team going to be much improved in 2022 coming off a 5-7 season?
I think coaching staff, their first recruiting cycle, they can kind of work things and recruit dudes they wanted and could mold around their program and how they taught things. And just this recruiting class that they've brought in and the dudes that we already have, I think we're going to be set up for success. Coach Fullett did an amazing job bringing in all those O linemen. And that's kind of been a struggle that UT's had in the past couple of years as the O line. And I think just Sarkisian and what he preaches and what he how he runs the program. I think it's great how he does it, and I think we're the Longhorns on the come up.
Definitely. And everybody in Longhorn Nation will be pleased to hear that. And hopefully everything you're saying comes true. Reece Beachump, 2022 wide receiver commit, will be on campus in the summer. And hopefully we'll see him on the field next year for the Texas Longhorns. Reece, thank you for coming on Locked On Longhorns, man. I really
Yes,
appreciate it.
sir. Thank you for having me.
Of course, Longhorn Nation, enjoy your weekend. Peace.